And she was like, well, I could just go home. I said, girl, that's your money. You said I could go. Is that affecting me? What's up, you all? So I'm headed off to a real, I'm just going up to this job. But I want to let y'all know about this shift that I worked yesterday. So let's get a little work story time, y'all. It's real juicy. So I went to a place that I usually been going to, not too bad. It's a pretty decent place. Anyways, I went to a place that I actually enjoy going to. I think it's okay. So anyhow, one incident that happened, I'm figuring it's a Sunday, it's gonna be chill, like cool vibes. Yeah. There is a lockdown unit at this facility, meaning like the patients and the staff are locked on the floor. Of course, there's a code to get out, but it's a lockdown unit. So they put like a code out for basically everyone to go to that unit. So we go over there, and I'm like, listen to people say, oh, what happened? Basically, it was a resident to resident incident. I don't want to go into full detail. So there's a resident to resident incident. And so I see that people are just talking about, oh yeah, I saw her do that. I saw him do that. I saw her, whatever. Or I saw patient A do this to patient B. I saw this happen. I saw that happen. Okay. Once I saw the RNA, real nurse, right? Once I saw the RNA supervisor, guess what Nurse B did? Nurse B exited stage left because I'm an agency nurse. This is not my facility. There is an RN supervisor over here. Everything is cool. It's not a code. Ain't nobody, we ain't got to do no CPR, no crash cart, no nothing. Y'all good, y'all stable. All y'all doing is, talking amongst yourself about what happened. Water cooler moment. Okay, let me go back to my floor with my patients who could be having the same incident happening right now. So let me go watch them too. So I'm over there. I go back to my floor because I saw the supervisor. You all, I'm on my break talking to my husband, and 2 hours later, the CMT knocks on the door. So I don't have a CMT. I pass my own pills to like 40-some patients. So the CMT from the other floor, so this floor that they had the incident on, they don't have a nurse charging the floor. They have a CMT charging the floor. Somebody who passes out medications charging the floor. Not a nurse, not an LPN, not an RN, but a CMT. No tea, no shade. But a CMT can only go so far. They only have a certain amount of scope of practice. Charging on a floor, that's a lockdown unit. So they just had an incident. So the CMT is like, oh, I just got the phone with such and such a supervisor, another supervisor, not the one that went over there, another supervisor. And they were like, they told me that I need a nurse to come over and do neuro checks on the patient because I have to send that patient out to the hospital. I'm like, because my husband was like, what happened? Because I heard you talk. Because I was like, because I had to end up just hanging up the phone with him because I was like, what do you mean? Where is the nurse that was just over there? Y'all had a whole supervisor over there when this incident first happened. Why didn't that, oh gosh, honey, she wrinkled. But why didn't that supervisor, that RN supervisor do this? Like, why do I have to sit here and do it as the agency LPN? 2 hours later, have to come and do a neuro assessment when something, because they said, oh, something happened. Like the incident happened with the other resident doing something to the other resident in the head area. Okay, so you got to do a neuro checks. I'm like, if that's the case, if anybody has ever done neuro checks, if it's suspected of potential head injury, you're doing vital signs, Q 15 minutes for the first hour, then every 30 minutes for like the next, every 30 minutes for the next 2 hours, then every hour for like the next every 30 minutes for the next hour, something like that. But then like every hour for like the next 2 hours, like it's a thing. Like you were actually checking these people. Then every 4 hours, then every shift, all the way up to 72 hours, you're doing this. So this should have been initiated 2 hours ago when there was a supervisor here who should know the policy of the facility. Because basically they were like, okay, our policy is if there's any type of potential head injury, then we send the patient out to the hospital, irregardless of how they look, what's going on. Send them out if they have a potential head injury. The supervisor should have known that. How the heck would I have known that? I don't even work on that floor. You have a CMT on that floor. You don't have a nurse on that floor. That has nothing to do with me. But me being the nurse that I am, which I'm really learning to get out of this habit, I'm like, okay, let me go get this done, right? Jump up, go do the assessment, do all that. I'm talking to the patient, trying to get the patient to know, like, okay, you're fine, we're just doing this, we gotta do this. Then I write up my note. The CMT like, oh, you write a little too much. What's going on? I'm like, because y'all don't see the severity of y'all situation. 2 hours later, you want to come and do this. Of course, the CMT don't see the severity of it because the CMT is a CMT. They don't see the liability behind this. They don't see the responsibility behind it. And I wouldn't expect them to, because that's not part of what they're supposed to be thinking about. It was that RN supervisor who should have been like, okay, we need to get this done and send this person out. So, hold on, y'all. Gotta get ready to go up in this facility. So, that happens. Okay, whatever. I was pretty fumed about that. Like, I was fussing about that. So, that happens. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like, I should never even freaking did this. I should never sign this. I should never did nothing. But I did it. I digress, right? Okay. So, dang it, where's my fanny pack? Oh, here it is. So after that situation, I got so much stuff, I don't even know what to take or not to take. Okay, so this is not going in. I'm trying to see. Because once you go into some of these places, like, it's hard to get out. So I'm like, let me go ahead and get all my stuff together. So anyways, that happens. Then there's a CNA on my floor that's like, oh, I'm leaving at such and such time. They want me to stay over to be the CMT on the other floor. Again, to charge as this. Oh, this happened before that incident because, okay, yeah, this happened before that incident because the supervisor was gone. So before that incident had happened, this CNA, the CNA / CMT was like, okay, I'm going on the other floor to charge basically charge as a freaking nurse, but they're a CMT on the floor of another lockdown unit. Okay, so they're going on another floor to be the nurse, but they're really the CMT over on another floor. And she was like, well, they don't have a nurse to come relieve me, so they told me that before I leave, I can come count the narcs with you, and and then the night nurse gonna come and basically be over both of these floors. I'm like, why would I come over there and count the meds with you when we both leave at 7? She was like, well, I'm leaving at 7. I said, oh, correction, we leaving at 7. So we leaving at 7, and since you don't want to stay and wait for your relief to come, which is the next nurse, you want me to count pills with you so that you can leave on time while I sit here and I gotta basically wait for this other nurse to come and then count pills with this other nurse and get another nurse report on the floor and leave even later than what I'm supposed to do. And I basically, once I count them pills with you and take them keys, I'm assuming responsibility of this floor too. So you want me to assume responsibility for 2 floors, one of which is a lockdown floor, and I'm not even on that floor, I'm on my floor, and you want me to go and have control over a whole other floor, and there's no nurse over there, and one CNA on a lockdown unit that needs to be a lockdown unit? I'm like, no, that's not gonna happen, girl. She was like, that's what she said. And what's so crazy is I was in the med room, which is sometimes you can't tell when people are in the med room. Like, there's like a nursing station, and inside the nursing station is a med room, so you can't always tell if somebody's in there. So I was in there, and I heard what the supervisor was telling her before the supervisor left, before that whole incident. I don't know if y'all understand what I'm saying because I'm kind of flustered and I'm trying to get everything together. But basically, when I heard her, she kept trying to tell the supervisor, like, but who am I going to count with? And she was like, well, I'm just going to come over here and count with the nurse so I can leave. She just kept saying that. And the supervisor was like, well, no, there's going to be a nurse over there. She was like, well, no, you said this. She's like, no, there's going to be a nurse. She was like, but you said this. Well, I'm just going to count with somebody. So the supervisor kind of like brushed it off, really. But she was like, no, the supervisor said, I told the supervisor I was going to count with another nurse. And she was like, okay, cool, I can just count with you. I'm like, that ain't what she said. That ain't what she said. But I was like, okay, it's cool, girl. It is what it is. Like, okay, it's cool. Whatever you, you know, she's like, cause I gotta go up to my daughter and do. I'm like, it's cool. Do you think I counted with her? No. And come to find out, they had 2 incidents over on that floor. 2 incidents, 2 falls, and one of the patients struck a worker. This is why I didn't want to have. And she was like, girl, it's so crazy over here. I'm like, yeah, you see why I was doing all that with you. Why I was doing it in like a kind of like, okay, girl, I don't know what to tell you, because that's not what I heard. But I was being firm about it. I was being a little kiki, but also was being firm about it. Like, I'm not about to count with you. That's okay. And I was like, it's cool, because I figured something was going to happen where I wouldn't have to count, but I'm still not going to assume responsibility. I didn't hear any supervisor tell or ask me to do anything, so I'm not going to do it. But she was like, well, I could just go home. I said, girl, that's your money. You said I could go. Is that affecting me? She was like, because do you really think that I should come over there and have to take care of, basically assume responsibility for 2 floors because you want to leave? No, you wait for your relief. Wait for your relief. Well, it's just the pills. I was like, no, it's not just the pills. If I take them keys and I assume responsibility over that floor, that's my floor until somebody comes. And who's to know if my relief gonna come on time? And who's to know when my relief come, he or she is gonna be okay with counting these pills with me and assuming 2 floors? That's not gonna happen. Who's to say that's gonna happen? Who's to say that? I'm over here got these keys, trying to get a key to the night nurse. Night nurse be like, I'm not about to take the 2 floors. And then what's gonna happen? And the supervisor is gone. And then y'all, the killer part is supposedly the day before this, another incident happened with 2 residents, and it was never reported. The patient never got sent to the hospital. It was never reported. Nothing ever happened. So this happened at this facility. It's crazy. I'm like, I don't really know. I'm probably not gonna pick up there for a while. I'm late, but I'm about to go into this job. Y'all, be somebody nurse tonight. I love y'all. Bye. Yeah, I'm just now leaving. This happens every time I come to this place. Hold on. Every time I come to this place, this happens. Like, my head is hurting. I didn't drink hardly any water because I did not want to use their bathroom. So I literally held everything in. I held my urine the whole time. I didn't drink any water. Did not get a lunch. I did stop though. I did take me a break and ate some food, but I didn't get a lunch. You know, will not get a lunch. So that's that. Where am I going? And I didn't even tell y'all about this place. I'm gonna do a separate video telling y'all about this place. But anyways, I did not get a lunch. So yeah, I don't even feel like talking about it. I'm done. It's over with. It wasn't really horrible of a shift. It was just very busy, but I'm glad I had a CMC, because last time I was here I had because I think today I had close to 50 patients, if not, no, I had over 50 patients, and I had no CMT. That was rough. That was a rough night. It was rough, I ain't gonna lie, but tonight I had a CMT. So I was like, okay, I can do this. But still in all, it was still a lot of work, but it's over with. I looked at my book, because I have a book where I keep records. And the last time I came to this place was May 5th. And today is July 5th. I'm like, that's so crazy. Yeah, I don't come to this place like that, but ain't nothing changed. Except they got that CMT, but they only had one aide and on one part of my hall. I ended up having to split a hall, so I had a hall and a half. So it was only 2 nurses in the whole building, and we probably all together had 100 and something patients. But anyhow, yeah, they didn't. What was I saying, y'all? Yeah, I only had one CNA on one side, and it was like she had like 20-something patients. I'm like, this is crazy. This is crazy. She's like, but it's the easy side though. I'm like, oh hell, because they said another CNA on the other floor had 50 patients with one. I'm like, yeah, is this a joke? Like, what do you mean 50 patients? Like, how are y'all? I don't get it. I'm confused. I'm per motherfucking plex. Are they closed? Oh, okay. It said closed. Okay. But yeah, I was very perplexed. Very much so. Because 50 patients, no ma'am. No God. Oh my goodness, this road is so jacked up. Okay, I gotta go, y'all. Let me call my husband, let him know I'm on my way. He like, did you leave yet? Oh, you're still there? What's happening? He said, you still charging? I'm like, yes, baby, that's why I'm here. He's like, what? So what's going on? Why you still there? I'm like, cause I'm charting. Like, I'm not a cashier at Schnucks, okay? Like, that ain't how we roll here. You know how this nursing game is. He knew it when I was like, oh, I gotta go upstairs. He was like, ooh. I was like, yes. So you knew how it was gonna be, and I was like, I gotta prepare myself to get up in here. So he knew what this shift was gonna look like. But let me call him, y'all.